Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And today I got to clean out my rainwater bucket with the filter. So I got to clean the bucket, I got to clean the filter. This is mostly about cleaning the Berkey filter. And so I got to get that done today. Typically I try to do it once a week, sometimes every 2 weeks. It just depends. I usually just watch, and when the water starts getting to the point where I'm not getting a full gallon a day, then I know that it's time to clean it out. So when the Berkey filter, if you're using just one filter at a time like we do, that's all we have is just one filter, that's all we need at a time. If you're trying to filter enough water for a bigger family, you may need to do 2 or 3 filters, whatever it is, at a time in your setup. But again, one has worked just fine for us, even when we had a family of 4 here. It's a matter of staying ahead though on your water collection. So we always have about 30 gallons of water stored up. So I have a video I did about a year and a half ago or so on how I store our rainwater. I'll go ahead and link to that right up here and down below so you can check that out. And in that, I believe I do show a little bit of where we filter the rainwater and how we do it. We have a couple different videos, so we don't have one yet just on the whole entire setup. We do talk about it in a couple of different videos, so hopefully that will give you an idea, and eventually we will get around to talking about the whole setup and how it works. But anyway, this is just about the filter itself and how I clean it. So if you clean it on a regular basis, you can keep getting a good amount of water. So again, for one filter, you should be getting about 1.5 gallons to 2 gallons a day off that one filter. If you're getting less than that, then it's time to clean it. And I can always tell. We usually go through 1 to 2 gallons of water a day anyway, so it's just normal for me every day, at least once a day, to go out there, fill up another gallon and bring it up, and then rotate all my water jugs. So anyway, let's get busy to this very simple process of cleaning your Berkey filter. Okay, the first thing that I like to do is I like to take my homemade vinegar that I keep in a spray bottle, and I'll spray the whole inside of the bucket down and the filter itself. And then I like to let it sit for a couple of minutes, and I'll just sort of tilt that on its side because of the nozzle at the bottom right here that sticks out, the filter sticking out of the bottom, that I can't stand it straight up on its end. So I just leave it on its side and I'll let it sit for a couple of minutes. So let me let it sit and I'll get right back to you. Okay, now that it's sat for a couple of minutes, I'm simply going to take the filter out. So you got to unscrew this wing nut here. And yes, I know it's a plastic bucket. This was a cheap way to go. You can make your own water filter with just 2 plastic buckets, preferably looking for food grade, but just remember it's not sitting in the bucket for very long. So after you get that taken off there, and you can see it looks kind of yellow. Some of that's going to be staining, and it's not going to, you're not going to be able to get it all off, but I can tell by the feel of it, it's very slimy. So a couple of things you can use are like a vegetable brush. You can go over it like that, and you see the difference there. Another option is I like to use are these little scrubbers that you can crochet yourself or knit. There's a special yarn you can get for this, and if I can find it on Amazon, I'll link to some below. I've never actually made myself any of these, but I'm going to someday. Yeah, one of our subscribers had made us a couple of these a while back. So you can just use that. It's gentle enough, but scrubbing enough to scrub it really good. And then I like to rinse it as I'm doing it. And see the difference there? Just scrub it really good. You can even just use a regular wash rag as long as it's rough enough that you can get a good, you can really scrub it good. But I recommend some kind of soft scrubber like you've got here, or even this brush here works pretty good. And don't forget to get the end. And this is just a way that you can prolong the life of your filter. And these are just the standard Berkey ceramic filters. We bought a bunch of them for a really good price years ago. And of course now the more common one are the charcoal ones. These particular ones are hard to find. If you're interested in these, I'll go ahead and link to what I can find below, whether it be the charcoal ones or the plain ceramic ones. If you're going to use it for city tap water though, I recommend you get a fluoride filter to go with it. But since we're using this for our rainwater, I don't need to add the fluoride filter to this. And then I'll also clean out the bucket. If you've got a stainless steel setup, same thing, just clean it out. I get some water down in there. And just rub that vinegar around in there real well. And this black thing that you see in here, this was a setup that Patrick made so the water can go straight from the collection tank. Well, not the collection tank, there's 2 tanks. I'll go ahead and link to the video I did on the rainwater. We don't have a video yet on our whole setup, but I have a video showing how I store the rainwater. And we've got 2 55-gallon tanks. One is the one that catches the first water that comes off the roof. That would be the first flush. Then it goes into the second tank. That's going to be a little bit cleaner water, and that's the water that we filter. And so Patrick had it set up so that water will then also go directly into this bucket if I want it to. And then that's just a I forget what you call these things, but what it would do is when the bucket would get full, this thing floats to the top and then shuts off the valve so it doesn't overfill the top bucket. Okay. Let those drain really well, especially since I use city tap water to clean this off. I want to let it drain really well, and then take it back out to the collection area. Okay, one of the things I forgot to talk about when I was cleaning that filter is don't forget to clean the little washer and down here at the bottom of the filter as well. This will also collect algae and other gunk on it, so make sure you scrub these down real well and then get your washer back on there, this rubber gasket thing, because that's going to keep the water from leaking out all around. You want it to go through this filter and out here. You don't want it going all over the place. And then this goes inside the bucket, then your wing nut will go from the outside like that. So I'm going to get this put all back together and then go fill my bucket up with the cleanest rainwater we've got, and then we'll filter through that, and then it will be ready to cook with, to drink with, to make coffee and tea with, and all that. So I hope you enjoyed my video, and remember that by doing this you can prevent having to buy a filter every couple of months. You can make your filter last 1 to 2 years by keeping up on it and keeping it cleaned. It can last for a very long time. It will get to a point when you know that it's just time to throw it out, when it just, no matter how often you clean it, it's still, you're maybe only getting a ½ gallon a day. It's probably time for a new filter. Okay, hope you enjoyed this video and this helped you out a little bit. Thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.